This is Wes Moss. I'm coming to you from Atlanta. And just like most Americans, I'm working out of the house this week for the first time. And this is going to be a long time. So if you're watching from, my city is shut down, Atlanta. So is Philadelphia. So are cities all across, so is San Francisco. So are cities all across the country. And it really has just begun. I've already talked to business owners in the last several days that are already starting to lay off employees, because they don't know how long this is going to last. And they say to me, Wes, I can't afford to stay open for the next 2 or 3 months with no revenue. And that's the problem. We need, and here's the solution we have to what's happening in America. We need to compress the problem. So for the next 30 days, call it a 30-day solution to save America and the economy from the coronavirus. Imagine if we all came together, much like we responded after 9/11. And we collectively said, we are going to stay at home with our families, our cats, our dogs, and really take this seriously collectively as a nation. And the government, with their assistance and their fiscal response, comes in and says, look, we're going to stop mortgage payments, rent payments, and so that your major bills for 30 days are abated, let's say. Guess what? The banks will survive, the mortgage companies will survive, landlords will survive, because pretty much any business can handle 30 days. Americans can handle 30 days. Now, not everybody can do that, and that's part of the reason we see the fiscal response from Congress that we're likely going to see or get. But for the most part, we can get through 30 days. What we can't get through in America is 90 days worth of no revenue for a small business. There are 15 million people in the restaurant industry. There are 10 million people in America that are in the airline industry. That's 25 million people I just mentioned in 2 industries. These are people that are going to experience not just a slowdown economically, but an absolute shutdown. Businesses are not prepared for that. Businesses understand slowdowns. Businesses do not prepare for absolute shutdowns for an extended period of time. So if we come together and compress this problem and rip off the Band-Aid and get this over with as quickly as humanly possible, it gives our economy a fighting chance to actually be able to rebound with minimal long-term damage. If we don't do it, now here's the other thing that we can do during that 30 days. We also go to the parking lots of our CVS's and our Walmarts and our Targets, and we get millions and millions of tests, which are coming here in the United States. What we would very likely find out is that the mortality rate of coronavirus, as terrible as it is, and any death is terrible, is likely looking a lot like what we're seeing in Germany. As of today, there are over 15,000 cases, almost 16,000 cases in Germany, and there are around 45 deaths. That means that there's a 0.25% mortality rate, or approximately 0.25% mortality rate. I understand that the world wants to shut down for a 2 or 3% mortality rate. That is scary. But when we look up in a month, if we're getting tested, and I would be very surprised if there weren't 2 or 3 million people in America that have either had coronavirus or currently have coronavirus. And that would help us determine the true mortality rate. Imagine we had 300 deaths in America and 3 million cases. Now we're at a 0.1% mortality rate. We would come out of this in 30 days, open our doors and say, let's get back to business. Let's get back to the world and avoid the absolute economic carnage that will come with a prolonged shutdown. Because we have to remember, we can deal with slowdowns for a long period of time. Businesses, for the most part, 50, 60, 70% of businesses, whether you're a small business or a publicly traded business, can't deal with 6 months worth of no revenue. And that's what we have to avoid here in America. So if we are fierce and we attack this problem, the fiercer we are in our response, the swifter the resolution. The fiercer we are in our response to this, and the more we come together, the swifter the resolution, and the closer or the shorter period of time we can make this. The better chance we have economically to come out of this and have a true recovery. If we don't do this, and this lingers, and my father used to tell me the worst thing, and this is working on our farm outside of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, the worst thing you can do in life is do a half-assed job. Well, right now we are in quasi-quarantine, or we are kind of doing social distancing. The Institute for Disease Management showed in a working paper that you can find online that shows that a 75% reduction in social distancing, or 75% reduction in human contact, if you will, working out of the house, shutting down schools, reduces the infection rate by 90% and the mortality rate by over 90% for most of the common viruses that, by the way, are spread just like coronavirus in any given winter. And this was also based on research from the Seattle flu study from 2019. So we know social distancing works. The problem is social distancing works and we need to do it. But we need to do it for the absolute shortest period of time we can as Americans so that we nip this problem in the bud, rip off the Band-Aid, you call it what you like. But this is something that we have to rally around as Americans. If you agree with this, I'd love for you to please like the video, share the video. I don't care how many likes this video gets. I don't care if it gets 0 likes. What I want is this message to get out, because this is a message I want to see go to Congress, go to the White House, go to every sort of politician and governor that's starting to make these decisions and still behind the curve. Let's get in front of this, bite the bullet, and rip off the Band-Aid. If we can do it, we take 30 days of pain, which anyone can handle in America, and get through this. It's so much better than extending this out for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months. That's when we could do real economic damage. So with that, please forward this video if you agree with it. I think it's important, it's critical for our economy in America to understand this concept and this message. So I appreciate you taking the time. Please forward to your friends. Please stay safe, stay healthy and safe, and let's continue to make this work.